proven CEOs and teams, demonstrated ability to execute passion, to execute and passion. Ability to execute and passion. Well, tonight I've organized a panel called Digital Leaders. It's downstairs on the first floor. We have 5 CEOs of digital media companies. 4 of them are under 30 years of age. The 5th invited all the 4, so he's in his late 30s, so I said it was all right for him to be on the panel, even though he's really old. When these guys went out and raised money for their idea, I would argue they didn't have a track record. Yet you would see them if you come, and I urge you, of course, to come. These are people that are backed by blue chip venture capital. $10, $20 million rounds going into companies being run by 25, 26-year-olds. The Googles of the world, well documented the success of the individuals. But, you have to kind of look for those people. The vast majority of the market, the other 99% of the market, people have been funded by, because they have had some experience in the marketplace. They know what they're doing. They have a team that knows how to execute. They've got proven execution. So if you're a young CEO and you're going to go out and make some money, you're probably playing the odds, effectively, if you make sure your team has people, on it that, that have done it before, that have executed before. People who are 40, 50 years old, who've been in the marketplace, or not even that old, but they love to join, even if they've run companies before, they love to join teams and help them. And maybe they're an advisor and they take a senior vice president's job or something like that. Getting those kinds of people involved with your company without diminishing your role is probably a good move, so that while you might be the small percentage that gets funded as a young entrepreneur, you probably increase your odds by associating yourself with experienced people.
Again, you can play that to your advantage too, because there are investors, even venture capitalists out there, who want to come to a Northeastern and see somebody 2 or 3 years out of school and fund their idea. That's what they like. So know your investor, know your audience, and play it to your advantage. And a lot of times I've seen it done also where in a business plan you have management, and you have somebody who's 23 years old trying to start a company, get funding for some technology. And under management, they have CEO and they have open. So they're telling the investor right there is, hey, look, I don't have the experience to be a CEO, but I'm open to suggestions. Right. So it's a good way of playing it up. But if you know your audience, you will find investors who like to invest in startups with young kids.
Okay. And also, if your product can be prototyped or your service can be prototyped, any kind of interaction with the customer, early feedback about what your product is or what your service is very valuable. And one of the great things is when if you really go out and you try not to do onesies with investors, so I'll try this guy, and if that doesn't work, I'll go to the next guy. If you take a broad approach to seeing as many investors as possible, as broadly as possible, you'll begin to get people who are interested. And as soon as you know that you have someone that's interested, you don't stop, calling on new investors. But it's remarkable the transformation in your own pitch when you walk into an investor and someone's interested. You start talking about the person, and we're looking, and we got a couple of people that are interested. And as soon as an investor thinks they're going to miss something, they go crazy. And so I call it the train is leaving the station. You can't just say that to them, but if you can get into that situation, that's good. Again, a lot of this is just percentages. If you're going to raise money, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people. So get started, go broadly. Don't think the next one, don't do it one at a time. All right. I'm going to do this quickly because we've got to get into the business plan, and we're getting a little short on time. This is what Joe was saying. If you have any doubt that you're not the right person to lead a company, but you're passionate about the product, there's the examples of people who are, chief technology officer or the top product person who has hired, hired a CEO. There are tons of them out there. Another thing is research the investors. You think of yourself as not just begging for money, but actually shopping for the right investor for yourself, even in these tough times. It's kind of the other side of this being desperate. Make sure that that. Well, I think that's a personal preference. If you want an activist investor who will come in and be at your company 2 or 3 days a week, you can find those kinds of investors. So it's a preference about what you're looking for. The advisory board, to me, is a set of people who have the skills and experience around the critical dimension of what you're doing. If you were to say, for me to be successful, I have to do these 3 things really well from an execution point of view. What I would do is stack an advisory board with people who have done that and who can lend advice and are willing to give time. Advisory boards often, a startup, I've seen lots of times that they start with an advisory board, and then as investors come in, there becomes a business board, but the advisory board continues on. Sometimes they suspend operation too. They serve a very valuable function to an investor who says, Joe Ferris is on the advisory board. He's done these kinds of deals a lot. He's not going to let this thing, slip away. My risk has been reduced. I haven't really stressed the risk piece, but they're looking for 2 things. They're looking for high opportunity and low risk, not even low risk that they can quantify, risk that they can understand, not some ambiguous level of risk. Do your homework, and again, it's all part of this notion of I'm shopping. I'm doing research up front on the investor. I'm looking for the best thing for me. I'm looking for X amount of dollars. And if you slip into the desperation mode, then you start going to 2nd, 3rd, 4th tier places, and the risk of that type of thing increases.